Facebook is officially quitting the social network business. Welcome to Reality Renaissance. My name is Alex. Facebook is now a Metaverse supply company. How this announcement by Mark Zuckerberg is going to change the way we see the world. The Metaverse has been popping up more and more in the public conversation. So what's this all about? Big tech CEOs like Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg all seem to be focused on this Metaverse. And it might just be the next big thing. Before I get into how Facebook is effectively transitioning from a social media company to being a Metaverse company, make sure to annihilate that like button for me. It takes just a fraction of a second, and it really helps me push this video out to more viewers. Now, here's a picture of a cute puppy. Aw. You may be asking, what exactly is a Metaverse, Alex? To define it simply, the Metaverse is a collective visual shared space, including the sum of all virtual worlds and the internet. So in the same way that networking, the internet, and smartphones revolutionized the way that we interact with the real world, the Metaverse will take that to the next level. A level where real life and virtual life is practically indistinguishable from each other. The current version of the virtual world that we all know today, also known as Web 2.0, is much more like a walled garden. Anything that happens within Twitter, within Facebook, or any other media platform stays within that platform and has no way to interact truly with any other platform. So at the end of the day, real life can always outperform what we do in the digital world. It just can't compare. The concept of the Metaverse can change all that. And many believe that it will change our whole perspective of what reality is. Today, I want to talk about a few of the things that are happening in the world right now that are stepping in the direction towards the Metaverse. First is Facebook announcing that they're abandoning their own Oculus API for the industry standard OpenXR. OpenXR is one standard to rule them all, said Palmer Luckey, founder of Oculus and one of the pioneers of the whole virtual reality space. It will allow interoperability of games and applications between any VR headset. In the words of popular virtual reality YouTuber known as Thrillseeker, OpenXR is very much so the best thing to have happened to virtual reality since its inception. Shout out to Thrillseeker, by the way. He's got one of the best virtual reality channels on YouTube. I highly recommend you go check him out. Now, back to the Metaverse. This news is huge. Interoperability is one of the foundational concepts of the Metaverse, and we're gonna get it in virtual reality finally. Now, what exactly is interoperability? To define it simply, interoperability is the ability of different information technology systems and software applications to communicate, to exchange data accurately, effectively, and consistently, and to use the information that has been exchanged. I know, that was a lot of big words, but basically, it means that different technologies, different applications can work together to provide a better service for the end user. Not every developer, creator, and person can come together towards this goal where every game, every app, and every service is accessible on anything, anytime, connected seamlessly between each other. This news shows us that Facebook is committed to the exact opposite of what it and its competitors have currently accomplished in the VR space. So far, VR and internet experiences have only been a walled garden experience. The things we do and accomplish must stay within the boundaries of that experience. If you have a Facebook post that gets 500 likes, it only matters in Facebook. It doesn't matter anywhere else. It's safe to say that with the introduction of Facebook Diem, Facebook's own cryptocurrency, and this Oculus news, they are making solid, measured steps towards a true Metaverse. Now, if you're confused about why I brought up Facebook Diem, and maybe you don't even know what it is, Facebook Diem is Facebook's cryptocurrency. I'll be explaining all of that in a later video, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know exactly when that comes out. Now, you're probably thinking, there's a huge elephant in the room here, Alex. Doesn't this sound like a dystopian future similar to Ready Player One, where Nolan Sorrento, the head of innovative online industries, is the de facto evil overlord of virtual reality and thus the world itself? I get it. There's a lot of questions and critiques behind this whole concept, and Mark Zuckerberg has been roasted pretty frequently on this topic. And I'm sure many people will say, why are you quoting Mark Zuckerberg about this? Of course he's got the perfect answer. Of course he's going to say he's not going to be controlling the whole thing. Of course. But honestly, when you listen to what he has to say, it makes a lot of sense. In a recent interview with The Verge about the metaverse, Zuckerberg addressed that question by saying, I don't think in the future people are going to be calling the work that individual companies do a metaverse. Hopefully, if we're successful collectively in building a system that's more interoperable and where you can teleport between things, it should all be the metaverse. Each company should not have its own metaverse. Hopefully in the future, asking if a company is building a metaverse will sound as ridiculous as asking a company how their internet is going. I can't lie. That makes sense. To confirm that point, another company leading the charge into the metaverse is Twitter. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and Square Cash is leading that charge into the metaverse with a goal to enable payments, tips, paid subscriptions, paid live streams, all transacted through cryptocurrency using platforms like Square and Venmo. The next step is a project called Blue Skies, with the goal of decentralizing the control of Twitter on the blockchain through Bitcoin. And another thing to confirm that point, let's talk a minute about Snapchat. Everyone has a little bit of experience with Snapchat. Whether those experiences are positive or negative, I think most can agree that Snapchat completely transformed the way people communicate through smartphones. They've led the way with message privacy. They've led the way with stories. They've led the way with filters. And now, what's next is on a whole new level. You might have heard of Snapchat spectacles before today. Snapchat's attempt at glasses that have cameras in them to take snaps. And you may have seen one of their pop-up vendors with the little eye that followed you around when you walked up to it with balloons on top. It was a pretty cool concept, but I think we could all agree that that was a failure. The glasses were ugly, it didn't have too much functionality, and because they were marketing it as a lifestyle product and not some gadget like a GoPro, it didn't take off because it was just kind of weird. Having a product that the only purpose is to be sunglasses and then also to record people that are sitting in front of you can get kind of awkward around your friends. But I think it's safe to say that Snapchat has learned a lot of lessons through the iterations of spectacles that they've released over the past 5 years. And that takes us to the next generation of spectacles. I don't know exactly what they're calling these. I think they're just called spectacles, but they are augmented reality glasses. What I mean by that is there's literally screens inside of the lenses, and these screens interact with the real world through augmented reality. Think about filters and how people can wear whole outfits of filters. They're already doing this within Snapchat, but it's a little weird within the rectangle of our phone. But outfits that are filters that maybe are transacted as NFTs. We can be playing Pokemon Go without holding a phone, and it's just there. It's like real life. We're playing Pokemon Go. And there's this really interesting app that one of the developers is working on where it treats you to little treats and little jewels and little cool little in-game items for running. So fitness could become gamified. All you NFT heads out there, I know, your head is spinning. These are going to be great opportunities for NFTs, and I can't wait to see it happen. In the past, these three companies have competed over the world of social media. In this next generation, in Web 3.0, they will be competing as metaverse supply companies. To me, it seems like these guys understand the critiques that go along with them being huge billionaire CEOs, and they're working towards getting away from that, getting away from the centralized control of owning a social media platform that millions of people use every day. And though it's not hard to compare Zuckerberg to Nolan Sorrento, Zuckerberg has a point. Technologies, specifically blockchain, are pioneering ways to decentralize the digital world in ways that would fall in line with the concept of a metaverse. From Bitcoin and Ethereum helping decentralize and privatize finance, to NFTs that can bring value and authenticity to digital and physical items alike. 15 years ago, none of these technologies existed. Now, a culmination of these technologies can truly bring us into a digital reality that seems a lot more like a better reality than a dystopian digital prison that has been long theorized to happen. In that same Verge interview I quoted earlier, Zuckerberg said, "The metaverse will bring enormous opportunity to individual creators and artists, to individuals who want to work and own homes far from today's urban centers, and to people who live in places where opportunities for education or recreation are more limited. A realized metaverse could be the next best thing to a working teleportation device." That is some sci-fi stuff right there that we've been imagining to happen for decades. Just waiting for it to happen, wishing to the sky that we could have a teleportation device. It is happening now. Facebook, Twitter, other big companies are doing this right now. It is the future we've all been hoping for. And I can hear the critics now. I could hear the people that want to cast doubt on everything, that want to say, this is the new world order. This is the dystopian future we've all been looking for. This is it. This is the Illuminati taking over. I see where they're coming from. I totally understand. And I think many could empathize with that viewpoint. The only problem is look at all the technologies we've developed over the years, over the decades. It all comes from these big companies that have lots of money and lots of resources to make these things happen. That's how it's done. Making a car was a huge endeavor 100 years ago. That's why Henry Ford was such an innovator. He was huge for the industry. In 1908, back when Ford released the Model T, a revolutionary vehicle for the future, Ford was seen as a technology company. Henry Ford was seen as an innovator, much like we see Tesla as a technology company and Elon Musk as an innovator today. It's just a new day. It's a new century, and we're doing new, bigger, more exciting things. That's what gets me so excited, and it should get you excited too. Now, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And one last thing, I'd like to send this video off with something that Elon Musk said when he was interviewed at the World Government Summit all the way back in 2017 about what he saw for the future of the world.
If we look at our life, it seems in the past 100 years, life been accelerating quite fast.
Yeah.
In the past 20,
it's
much
getting
faster.
Faster and faster.
Is it more slow? So my question is really, how life will be in Earth 20, 30, 50 years from now? Our education, our transport. How do you see it?
Well, I think this is one of those things that's quite difficult to predict. When you think of, say, the first controlled powered flight was 1903 with the Wright brothers. And then 66 years later, we put the first people on the moon. I mean, if you'd ask people, say in 1900, what are the odds of, man landing on the moon, they would have said, that's ridiculous. And if you try to talk to them about the internet, they would not even know what the heck what are you even talking about? Like, this sounds so crazy. But today, with a $100 device, you can video conference with anyone in the world, on the other side of the world. And if you have a Wi-Fi connection, it's basically free. Free to have an instant visual communication with anyone, or even with millions of people. With social media, you can communicate to millions of people simultaneously. And you can Google something and ask any question. It's like an oracle of wisdom that you can ask almost any question and get an instant response. It would have been incredibly difficult to predict these things in the past, even the relatively recent past. So I think the one thing that we can be quite certain of is that any predictions we make today for what the future will be like in 50 years will be wrong.
Thank you everybody for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the future. See you next time.